All right, and welcome to another episode of eBay Scavengers. I'm Mikey, and today with me is Ryan.
Hey,
And
Mikey.
hey, and this is episode 33, and we're going to talk about what's happening in your store this week. So, Ryan, I know that you guys are having a better July than we are, and you had some nice sales this week. What's going on with your store?
Yeah, so it started out really slow. July, this summertime just seems like it's really slow. People are on vacation. It's like holidays, all that stuff. But it did pick up in the last week for us. We sold some pretty big items. We sold like a designer sink of all things for quite a few dollars, so that was good. And I was able to pack it and ship it, so knock on wood, it's going to get there okay. I actually just put up a piece of furniture, something that we owned, that I put up for pretty high. I put it up for $600, so I'm hoping that that'll be a winner. But it is local pickup or freight, so that's like a whole
Is this,
other thing.
like a couch that you put up? Or?
No, it's like a wardrobe or an armoire.
Oh.
Right. It's like a wooden wardrobe. And we bought it for the house that we're redoing, and it's way too big. Like, it does not fit in up the stairwell. So
What's different when you do something of that scale? Like, what do you have to do differently for it?
well, I mean, basically it's the same like listing technique where, I'm taking photos and I'm doing measurements and describing it, but it's weird because I wanted to put it on local pickup or freight, but you can only choose one. You can only choose one or the other. I just said local pickup with information where people can contact like a freight carrier. Basically telling people like, hey, if you want freight, like contact these people and figure out like a pickup, and we'll just, stand back and let you do that.
I gotcha. So from your perspective, it's really local pickup either way.
Exactly. It's like either you have someone pick it up for you and you pay them, or you come and get it. There are a few people watching it, so that's good, but I don't know. I also put it on Craigslist, but we live quite far from the nearest like large metropolis, so we'll see.
Yeah, I've had that issue with Craigslist too, but when I put cars and stuff on it, people are willing to come out. So it seems if your price is right.
Yeah, I think for cars it's different because it really is like an investment, and people are willing to drive to get a deal. But I don't know about furniture. I've never had experience selling furniture out where we live. Like, people are just like, "Where do you live? You want us to drive 2 hours to come see you?" I'm just like, "Oh yeah."
Huh.
So
I'm curious to hear how that goes, if you can move that.
Yeah, I really hope we can, because we gotta make space because it's huge.
So you had mentioned, Ryan, before the call that you were having problems this week with one of your buyers being a little crazy on you.
Yeah, so it's very rare. Actually, I honestly cannot remember the last time we had a crazy customer that wasn't willing to, work things out with us if they had an issue. Especially because you understand this too, where when someone has a problem or they contact you and they're like, this is broken or this is not how I thought it was, you're like, great, no problem, return it, no big deal, whatever. I'm so willing to work with people. But the weird thing was, I sold this thing to a woman, and it was a delicate piece of glass, and I did the double boxing with like bubble wrap all around it with a double box and padding, and I was hoping it would get there. I put insurance on it. I put ship cover insurance just in case, of course. And she got it, and she said it's broken. And I was like, okay, I apologize. Obviously, I try to pack things really well, but I do have insurance on it, so I will file an insurance claim, and then I can give you your money back once it's verified, because the customer has to verify the claim, which is, makes sense, I guess. So she writes back, and she's like, just turns crazy, where she's like, you knew this was broken. You shipped this to me broken. I can tell by the photos. Yeah, I can tell by the photos that you like put it back together so it looked. I'm like, whoa, are you serious? Like, look at my feedback, look at all the items I've sold. Like, why would, obviously anyone who's like a rational, not crazy person first of all, would never say anything like that because you're like, what?
Yeah.
So the sad thing is, I'm totally like, I will give you a full refund plus your shipping, And she was like, no, I won't verify the insurance claim because you're lying. Yep, that's what she said.
So what are you going to do with these? Now, I know that you guys have two things you usually do. One is usually Jay jumps in with the crazies, right? Does he try to send a letter and calm them down?
Yes, so he did that. He was like, we're really trying to work with you. We would never intentionally send something that was already broken. We have insurance for this reason. And there was no calming this woman down. Every message she sent, you're a liar, you're insurance fraud. You're just like, whoa.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's kind of complicated because there's two entities involved. It's eBay and ShipCover, which are separate entities. So I called eBay and I was just like, this woman is being irrational and she's being abusive, and she said she won't verify the insurance claim, which is, what's the point of me getting insurance if I can't claim something's broken? And they just sent her a message saying, please verify the insurance claim. And then I called ShipCover, and ShipCover is actually great because a person will answer right away. Like, it's just some lady at a desk and she answers. I mean, they just were like, well, if she denies the claim, you can appeal it. If she does nothing, it'll just expire. But then eBay would make me, give her a refund anyway. So it's kind of a strange situation. I mean, not to go on and on about it, but it's a weird situation when you're like, great, I have, my seller protections. I have my ShipCover insurance. And the person's like, no, you're a liar. You're like, wait. What do I do? So anyway,
it's so strange.
Yeah, it's really strange. It's really weird. I'm like, we could solve this with one click. Just verify it and I'll give you all your money back and it's all good.
I was going to ask, do you ever ask people just for a photograph when they claim it's, broken on arrival?
I have done that in the past. Jay really does not like it when I do that because he's like, you don't believe them, I'm not sure why he doesn't like it. For me, it makes sense. I'm like, I want to see that it's broken. Or I've had it where people will tell me something's broken and then I don't ask for a photo and I give them a refund and then they're like, oh, I was just using it wrong. It's totally not broken. And you're like, oh my God, oops. You didn't give them that extra pause to go figure it out before they wrote to you again, So yeah,
Right.
I have in the past. And now this woman just straight out the gate was, being all crazy. So I wasn't gonna ask her for a photo. I was just like, this woman is just being insane. So
you could just eat it, right? I mean, in some ways you could just do nothing and be like, I'm not going to give you a refund. I'm not going to do anything. And the worst you have is just one negative feedback, right?
No, because she opened a case on the Resolution Center. And it is escalated to eBay customer support now. They will decide within however many days, I don't know, whether she should get a refund or not, and they'll automatically pull the refund. They'll just pull the money, and it's $100. That's the problem. If it were a few bucks, I'd be like, whatever, refund, just, calm this person down. But it's $100. So I'm like, okay. I'm going to fight for this. I will give her a refund. It's not a problem. I just want the insurance money because I insured it on purpose. That is why you do insurance,
In this case, was the buyer someone that had a lot of feedback or were they kind of new to eBay?
No, she's not new to eBay. Nope. She has a lot of feedback, over, 200.
Yeah, she knows what she...
Yeah. And then Jay mentioned...
Well, that's an interesting dilemma.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it is. I just bring this story up because, it is so rare to have someone this, being this irrational. Usually, people are like, "This broke," and you're like, "Great, I'll totally give you all your money back. Let's do the insurance, whatever." And they're just like, "Cool, great, love it." They're not calling you a fraud,
right.
But. And the other thing, too, is I feel like sellers do have protections where you can call eBay and you can call ShipCover to kind of sort things out. So, a lot of sellers will just be like, screw eBay. I'm never doing this again because of all the crazy people, and it's just, I think that sellers do have protections, if you really work for it,
Right. Yeah,
So-
you're going to earn this $100.
That's damn right. But so how are things in your store?
Well, our store's been super slow. I was just looking at our monthly status, and we had a week that we sold $100 in stuff, and I'm like, what? That's crazy. Yeah. And it's picking up again, but it was really bad. And I think the thing that helped us a lot is we started going out this week. On Wednesday we started going out to the thrift stores and the bag sales, and this weekend we were at the yard sales, and immediately we got 40 items up with just a couple days of just walking around and being at stores again. And it's helping us get through some of our backlog inventory. All we really had to do to get back in the saddle was just to start to go out again, and that sort of reignited our always be listing. So that's been good. And I was going to mention one of my favorite staples that I like to do when I'm feeling kind of bummed about eBay sales is I like to just go to all the thrift stores and buy the power supplies.
I noticed that. I noticed that on your store. I was like, he's putting up a lot of power supplies. So explain that to people who are like, what are you talking about?
Okay, so whenever you go to a thrift store, there's always a box, and it's just a chaos of wires. It's a rat's nest of just wires everywhere, and all these black power supplies, from laptops to cell phone chargers to Atari 2600s, just all these ancient power supplies in one box, and you really don't even know what they go to for the most part. They're not that well labeled. At best, you'll get a brand on it. So I buy those. I buy all of them, and sometimes I can get them for $0.25 each. Sometimes I can get a bulk lot. Sometimes I'll pay $1 or $2 each. The thing is, they almost always work. I have a very high success rate with them. I don't really test them beyond plugging them in and seeing if a light comes on, and sometimes I don't even bother to do that.
But you do have a, just to get nerdy, you can test those if you really want to do it with a multimeter.
That's right. You could plug it in, and on most power supplies, if you hook up a multimeter, you can start to read the voltages coming out of it, and that would be an indicator that it's working. But I'm not that worried about it because these are relatively inexpensive devices, but you know what? The bigger the power supply it is, often the more it's worth. So typically I'll get $20 to $30 for most of them, but sometimes I'll run across one that's worth $75. It doesn't take much time, and what I like is when you're listing them, a lot of people are selling the same power supplies, so it's easy to just look them up and find example text and titles and all that and learn what they go to. Because they all have specific numbers, model numbers on them, it's really easy to quickly look them up. There's no guessing at all. Those model numbers just get you right to the product. So
right, and something else I was going to mention too
investment.
That those are really cool because a lot of people who are electronics nerds, or people who are like, oh, I bought this, old phone or whatever, and it needs a power supply, and it needs this very specific power supply that I looked up. And they'll go on eBay and they'll enter that model number of what it is. I've done it myself several times, actually, where I'm like, I have to replace this, little 9-volt transformer thing that came with these walkie-talkies, and I burnt it out because we were in another country, and I had to buy another one, and it worked.
Yeah, and people are willing, even if you put best offer on some of these, people will often pay full price because they want it now, They don't want to wait for anything.
Yep. Yeah, that's a great tip.
So I really I like power supplies, and I would just say a few tips for someone getting into power supplies is look for the biggest ones they have. Those will be what you want to start with, the laptop or bigger kind of power supply.
What would those power, something bigger than a laptop or a printer supply? What kinds of things would those power, do you know?
Well, beyond laptop printer, you're probably looking at power supplies that would be going for kind of benchtop electronics, or they would be for electric vehicles, little scooters and small electric vehicles or wheelchairs. And then that starts to put you near the $100 range for them. So they're a sweet little find, and usually at any thrift store you're going to have a lot to choose from. I would stay away from the real small cell phone ones. Those are typically $5 to $15. It's generally not worth the time to list them and look them up and all that.
Yeah, I sold one. I actually sold one that I had for a long time. It was this big power adapter. I don't know what it was for, but someone bought it, and I actually took a best offer of $15 because I wanted to get it out of my storage. But that wasn't bad. I was like, great, cool. I got that for free. I think I just like found it somewhere.
Yeah. So that's been helpful. And then one other thing that kind of helped us this week get a little more listed was we started going through our inventory from our Northwest trip. Wendy had a little bag, a little like sandwich Ziploc bag of patches she paid $4 for. And for her, that's like an investment to spend $4 on something so tiny.
Yep.
She probably negotiated it down, but it said $4 in black marker on it. But anyway, we had bought it from a pretty good, like kind of a professional yard sale where the like a auction team comes in, not an auction team, but just a professional seller.
It's
comes
like
in
an estate sale or something.
Yeah, a professional estate company that takes credit card and has cashiers and people watching you in every room.
Yeah.
So she picked up some patches in this little bag, and we started going through the patches, and like the numbers that were coming back from them were like $120 each and $280 each, and we're like, oh my goodness,
whoa,
this tiny little bag, and she had like 8 of them.
Wow.
So we have like over $1,000 in patches in this tiny thing, which I think is like the ultimate testament, for one, because these slip through in a professional estate sale where they're usually pretty good about knowing what they have. It is the super small, easy to pack items. So we're all about the patches now.
So are those like scout patches, like Boy Scout patches, or something else?
Yeah, they're like 1910 Boy Scout patch kind of stuff.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, it's really funny that you said that, because yesterday at the thrift store we found a couple like little boxes full of vintage ski patches, like from different ski resorts and stuff. So Jay gave me a link to a website. I have to look it up. But yeah, same thing. Some of them are worth like $70, $80, $100 each.
That's crazy. I mean, because you could reproduce patches for less than that. Like, why?
Yeah.
Why are they so valuable?
Maybe because no one does reproduce them. They just don't have that. Yeah. So I've actually been buying a bunch of stuff on eBay myself, just little things that I've needed. Like I bought stuff for the cats. Like we have 3 cats, and I bought like flea stuff for them. And something that I noticed is like several sellers, and some of them are professional sellers, they don't ship things for several days, up to a week. Like I'm looking at something now that I bought that I'm like, this person has not even shipped this yet, and it's just like unshipped. And I think that eBay gets a bad reputation sometimes for sellers like that, who just like they offer free shipping and then they like don't ship for a week. And I just want to say, emphasize that it's really important just, ship stuff fast and respond to people fast too. Cause I've written to a few of these people like, hey, when are you going to ship this? And they don't write back,
Oh boy, yeah.
Yeah, and you're just like, oh man, like that is the worst thing. And actually, like one thing I got was the wrong thing. Like they sent me the wrong thing, and I asked for them to like, can I exchange it? Can I get another one? Whatever. They haven't written back. It's been like 4 days. I'm just like, what? This is unacceptable, eBay seller. It's important to write back to people when they ask you a question. I mean, if you have alerts on your phone, you should be writing back to them immediately.
Yeah, that's really, and especially when it's a customer service kind of question. It's not just like, I want to know more details about this item. It's like, where's my stuff and why is this the wrong item? And I got to do a return.
That's pretty important.
Because that's just negative. That's going to end up being negative feedback for them.
Negative feedback, and the person who sent me the wrong thing, I mean, I've already opened a case against them to be like, this is the wrong thing. Either send me the right thing or give me a refund. Like I'm being one of those like crappy customers, but the only reason I'm being like that is because no one will talk to me, Right. It's bad.
Now, was this a top-rated seller in some of these cases?
Let me see. One of them is a top-rated seller, but then again, if they offer free shipping, then they automatically get like 5 stars for shipping. So,
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and you're like, okay. And then a couple of the other ones were just, individuals, like the cat stuff that I got was just like, they had the best price for it, and they're just someone who like just sells like random like 10 items at a time, which is also kind of a mistake, I guess.
Yeah, I will pay more when I'm looking through eBay stuff to buy for myself, I will pay more for a top-rated seller just because I know that it usually means they have to ship, that they have some sort of shipping policy within, 24 hours. So that's why I'll pay an extra $1 or something just to know that they'll ship.
Yeah, that's really, really smart, and I should stick to that rule. Although I'm not a top-rated seller right now because we've been traveling so much. So.
Yeah, you make people wait for 3 weeks.
That's right.
Even longer.
We're gone for 6 weeks.
But the difference is that you're a good communicator and you tell them right away, so you could just back out the order and no one's going to be sitting around wondering 3 days later why nothing's shipped.
Yeah, I think communication with your customers is so... Like, someone wrote to me today and they got something that they didn't know was damaged or whatever. It's not like super damaged, but it's got some wear in a spot, which I had obviously described in the listing, very detailed, and they didn't see it. But I was like, no problem. Just totally send it back. It's no big deal. And like, that could have been a crazy person situation if I hadn't written back, but I saw the alert on my phone. I wrote back right away. I tried to make them happy and it was fine. They're like, great, I'll ship it back. No problem. Easy. Took 5 minutes of my day, so easy.
Yeah. And sometimes with those people too, they don't want to do the ship back, but they'll say like, look, just give me $10 off or something. And depending on the item, maybe that's totally fair or not, but.
Yep. And that can save both parties time. You're just like, yep, no problem. I don't have to send a full refund, but, at least I don't have to deal with shipping costs and all that stuff. So,
Ryan, is there anything else you want to add to what's up in your store this week?
We now have pages on our blog. We have an About page that talks a little bit about who all of us are. There's 4 of us. We have a subscribe page, so you can see how to subscribe and, subscribe in iTunes or email or whatever. And we have a resources page where we link to all the tools that we always talk about and all the kind of services that we recommend for people.
Okay, great. So this is episode 33, What's Happening This Week. And Ryan and I have another episode we're going to do this week, which is Best Offer. Let's move on to our Best Offer Price Negotiation Tactics episode, number 34, which is coming up next.